Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are now witnessing the arrival of the political leader and Prime Minister of Grenada, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell. He's now arriving at the gala in Florida, where the NDC Florida chapter has put on this, what looks like a real fantastic black tie evening. And it's looking good so far. So they're about to make a start. There's probably about 200 persons in here so far, and looks as though we're going to have a great evening. Now, this activity is being put on by the NDC Florida chapter. And it's important for me to explain, especially to our folks back at home, is that the entire activity has been sponsored. When I say the entire activity, I mean the incoming guests, Prime Minister and his delegation, and others have been all sponsored by the National Democratic Congress Florida chapter. I'll just cease at this time and allow for the invocation. We'll be back with you in a moment.
And we'd like to welcome to the podium.
Ask, oh God, that you will bless us. We thank you for our Prime Minister who has taken the time to be here and to represent our great land. Lord, be with us tonight. Allow for everything that happens to be a blessing to each and every one that will reflect and say, truly, we're from a great place. This we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Please remain standing for the national anthems of the United States and Grenada.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave. Good evening. There should be music for the Grenada anthem. Yep.
want to say thank you to Anelia Wells Miller. That was beautiful. Please be seated. Go ahead. Welcome ourselves.
My name is Chris Monroe. Yeah, you can be seated. My name is Chris Monroe. I'm the PRO for the NDC Florida chapter.
And I am Trisha Campbell, and I am the secretary of the Florida chapter.
We will be a host for the evening. And right about now, we would like to acknowledge some dignitaries and some important people. We'll start with our Prime Minister, our political leader, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell. We welcome you to Florida. We also would like to welcome his security, Mr. Neil Charles, his executive assistant, Mr. Kira Lessie, the caretaker for St. Andrews Northeast, Dr. Tessa Sincere. We have with us also Mr. Terry Forrester. He's the diaspora ambassador. And we have our ambassador to Cuba, Mr. Glenn Noel. We'll also like to mention some dignitaries from Florida. We have with us the Vice Mayor of Miramar, Miss Alexandra P. Davis. Not sure where she's sitting.
Not here at the moment.
Not here at the moment. Also, Mr. Dale Holness. He's a former mayor of Broward County. Mr. Richard Campbell, former commissioner of Lauderhill. Mr. Richard Nixon, ambassador and international relations executive. And Mr. Michael Joseph, who is a commissioner in North Miami Beach.
And now we start the program. Coming to the podium, no stranger. He is Mr. Leslie McQueen. He is the chair of the NDC Florida chapter, our hard-working boss. He's going to do the welcome remarks. Mr. Leslie McQueen.
Thank you very much, Master and Mistress of Ceremony. We're very happy for the good job you're doing thus far, and I'm sure you'll continue to do a good job throughout the night. A pleasant welcome to all my wonderful people from Florida and the surrounding areas. We are so happy to have so many of you here tonight. And I think you need to give yourselves a round of applause just for being here tonight. We must recognize our distinguished Prime Minister, who is very much loved here in Florida and throughout Grenada. We already had the introduction to our Prime Minister and the political leader. He has been doing an excellent job, and we are excited about the prospect for our lovely country, state, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. So let's welcome our Honorable Prime Minister and political leader, Deacon Mitchell.
We have to ask ourselves is, do we want a society that we plan, that we set goals and work towards achieving them? Or do we want a society where we get up and say, whatever happens, happens? That is ultimately the test that we must pass. A society does not improve by chance. We don't become wealthy my chance.
We have the best picture and we like it. Young, intelligent, full of
Yeah, we do have the best Michelle, and we love him. We also have with us the ambassador for the diaspora, no other person but Brother Terry Forrester. Let's give him a round of applause for being with us tonight. We have the ambassador, Grenada's ambassador to the Republic of Cuba, no other person but Brother Glenn Newell. Brother Glenn Newell, please take a bow. And we have Sister Tessa Sincere, who is one of the hardest working politicians in Grenada today. Sister Tessa, please stand and take a bow. And I cannot forget our General Secretary. He is someone who is all around. He's all over. He works hard. He makes a lot of noise. And he's here with us, Brother Larry Barry. Brother Barry, please stand. So my sisters and brothers, I will not be long tonight, but I must let you know that we are here because of a hard work from a lot of members of our chapter. We have been working hard for the past 2 years. And because of that, we are here tonight celebrating our first anniversary as a chapter. And we are very proud of it. So I think you need to give our brothers and sisters who have been working so hard to make this possible a round of applause. We also want you to know that our chapter is the second chapter of the National Democratic Congress outside of Grenada after New York. New York has been around as long as the NDC existed, and we are here just celebrating our first anniversary as a chapter. It's a major achievement. It's the second chapter of the NDC outside of Grenada. So that again is a major achievement. And most of our work was done during the COVID era, which even make it harder for us to organize, mobilize, and establish so that we can be where we are here today. We have had 47 meetings since we started as a chapter last October. And all of those meetings were held virtually. Just imagine. We have a membership of 45 persons, and we have met virtually for the past year. We stayed together, we worked together. Once in a while, we've had about 5 social activities where members will come together and we have, some eats and drinks and so forth. But the fact that we have been able to do so much and accomplish what we have done within the past year, I think that is significant. So let us give our chapter a round of applause just for that. We have done some remarkable things for Grenada as well. We have, during the past year, shipped toys to kids in Grenada. And we have also shipped school supplies and several other items for kids and young people in Grenada. So we have been working, and we want to thank you, the Floridian community, for your support. You have been there for us. You have supported us. And now that we are approaching our second year, now that we are moving into our second year, I appeal to every one of you to please continue to support our efforts here in Florida. Continue to support the National Democratic Congress. The National Democratic Congress is a party that cares about people, that support the young people in particular and what they should aspire as we strive to build a better country. So lend a hand, be with us, and let us all build Grenada together. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
The mic. Thank you, Mr. McQueen. Just to say here, the Vice Mayor of Miramar is not here as yet, and that is Alexandra Davis. So we will move on with the program.
So at this time, we want to call on Mr. Terry Forrester. He's the assistant PRO of the party and diaspora ambassador. We want to call on him to give some remarks.
I'll put it on this side. Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Let me recognize our parliamentary representative for the constituency of St. David. He is also the political leader of the National Democratic Congress and Prime Minister of Grenada, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell. His Excellency, the Ambassador to Cuba, Mr. Glenn Noel. His Excellency, the Ambassador, Dr. Richard Nixon, on special assignment to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development. Mr. Leslie McQueen, Trade and Investment Officer at the Grenada Consulate in Miami. Mr. Larry Barry, General Secretary for the National Democratic Congress. Dr. Tessa Sincere, candidate in waiting or candidate designate for St. Andrew Northeast constituency in Grenada. I don't know if Her Excellency Alexandra Davis is here as yet, but we want to recognize her if she is. His Excellency Dale Holness, former mayor and Broward County, Executive Assistant to the Prime Minister, Akira Lessie. The Chairman of the NDC Florida chapter, Mr. McQueen, other members of the executive of the Florida chapter and supporters. I believe Chairman Bernard Bourne is here from New York. He heads the NDC New York chapter. Other distinguished guests, both here and those online. Mr. Junior George, media consultant and host of Ride Along. Supporters and patrons of this very special fundraiser event. Grenadians all and friends of Grenada. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not usual that I speak with a list, but today, this evening, I will have to. And I will explain to you why. Yes, it is simply because of important information that I wish to share with you that I don't want to rely totally on my memory. So, let me say, I consider it a distinct honor and a pleasure to be invited to this NDC Florida chapter fundraiser event in the presence of our distinguished political leader and Prime Minister, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, and his esteemed and honored guests. My name is Terry Forrester, and I was appointed in July of this year to be your ambassador for diaspora affairs, to which I immediately embraced my appointment with the joy of knowing that I will be serving you, my Grenadian people, in achieving your goals and aspirations, and to help present known opportunities to you. The Office of Diaspora Affairs is a department within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development, which is headed by the Honorable Joseph Handel and ably supported by Permanent Secretary Roxy McLeish Hutchinson. Now, the first task which the Office of Diaspora identified and embraced was the Adopt a School initiative. This is by no means a new initiative, because several Grenadians in the diaspora had been making contributions over the years to schools, hospitals, various homes, families, and friends. This initiative to adopt a school is simply to reinvigorate your spirit and to encourage you to recommit to any learning institution of your choice or your alma mater in Grenada. Your contributions could be in support of students in need, school supplies, school equipment. You can even paint a classroom, get the bathrooms fixed, because you know young students always breaking up the bathrooms, repair broken furniture. You can also help to upgrade the grounds and lots of other activities that takes place in the school to which you can contribute. Meanwhile, we are currently looking into the establishment of a GoFundMe project for schools where donations could be made to the Ministry of Education for the account of any individual school that you wish to support. That will be tax-free in the United States. A Dr. Gale, a U.S. tax consultant, is assisting us in this initiative as we speak. So those of you who wish to leave thousands or millions to your favorite cat or dog, remember us in Grenada. So, ladies and gentlemen, at this time in Grenada, we are all called to action and inspired by our young and phenomenal leader as he takes bold decisions in moving Grenada forward. One such action was the removal of tuition fees in secondary schools, including the institutions of NULO and TAMCC, to which the latter would have cost parents and guardians $810. Surely you could imagine the joy on the faces of many Grenadian families, realizing that they no longer have to meet this cost. I would say this is a measure of transformation, and I would also ask you to give the Prime Minister a round of applause for having this bold initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, I have never been more motivated and encouraged in my entire life to witness in my lifetime a truly transformational agenda taking place in Grenada, and I am extremely happy to have been given the opportunity to contribute in some small part in this endeavor. Moreover, it has become a joy and a privilege to work with a team which is united, committed to the task, and excited in its mandate under the transformational leadership of the Honorable Deacon Mitchell. The Office of Diaspora Affairs is in the process of updating what we inherited was an old website with outdated stuff, so that we may be able to interact with so that you would be able to interact with the site, source information such as list of all the schools in Grenada, contact information for all the principals, so that you can remember which school you went to. And remember, you need to send them something. You would also be able to find information on several derelict, dilapidated government buildings which are all over the island. These are assets inherited by this new administration. And the idea here is to encourage and invite Grenadians to indicate your interest in refurbishing these old government buildings, because you go all over Grenada, There are police stations in private accommodations, the surgeries in private accommodation, and other government offices. In one particular parish, even the courthouse is in a private location. And in these parishes, there are several government buildings. So the idea is if you invest in upgrading these buildings under what we call a BOLT system, build, operate, lease, and then you hand over to government, you terminate. That will be an initiative that will serve Grenada well. It will also serve you well because your investment will be returned over a period of time, and then the property returns over to government. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we call transformation. Because what this will do, it would help create jobs in the construction industry. It would also help to stimulate our economy by the purchase of construction materials, and certainly it will help to enhance our communities all around Grenada. In certain parishes, the police station, which I indicated before, courthouse and others, are in private homes. We need to change this, ladies and gentlemen. And with your support, we believe this is possible. I also wish to share with you that the Organization of American States is partnering with the OECS in a program which seeks to help empower women. It's called the OAS Women's Economic Empowerment Project. In other words, OAS WE, W-E-E, the OAS Women's Economic Empowerment Project. It's a $3 million project which seeks to target women entrepreneurs of MSMEs in the OECS countries. Its main objective is to enhance the capacity of women to effectively function in the economy and build sustainable livelihoods. Grenada currently has 76 women-led MSMEs, which are medium, small, medium economies, participating in the project. The diaspora is also included in this OAS WE 2023 initiative. This is not just for Grenada and the OECS. So in other words, women right here in the United States and Canada can obtain assistance through our consulates, our embassies, and you too can seek access through this OAS funding. They are therefore encouraged to make sure you contact our consulates, embassies within the USA and Canada to seek information on this matter. Now, regarding government incentives regime, let me also encourage you to contact your consulates, embassies, and our High Commission, for those who are online listening in the UK, to obtain information on how you can contribute to the revamping of the investment incentives which government offers to investors, and you too can be considered an investor. In other words, this initiative, which is headed by our Ambassador, Dr. Richard Nixon, is making the rounds through our consulates and our embassies, encouraging input from you Grenadians regarding the investment regime presently existing. The idea is to get your input so that a new submission can be made to government which gives a clear indication as to where our investment policy will be going. Thank you. So, yeah, this sounds much better. At this point in time, I would have the distinct honor and pleasure to introduce to you the Honorable Prime Minister, and I have with me a prepared text which I will share. The Honorable Deacon Mitchell was born 8th of October 1977 in Grenada, and he is the 9th Prime Minister. A man of humble beginnings, Deacon Mitchell was born to working-class parents in Petit Esperance, St. David. He was raised with a fond appreciation for learning, which paved the way for a successful academic future. Deacon Mitchell received his formal primary and secondary school education at the St. David's Roman Catholic School and Presentation Boys College, before pursuing tertiary education at the T.A. Marichaud Community College. After college, it was not surprising that the young scholar entered the working world as a teacher, accepting a position at his alma mater, the Presentation Brothers College. This experience cemented his belief in the transformational power of education and fueled his desire to advocate for the educational advancement of all Grenadians. He understood, however, that to do more, he had to become more. In 1996, Deacon Mitchell traveled to Barbados to continue his studies at the University of the West Indies, graduating with a Bachelor of Law, LLB, in 2000. He went on to complete the Hugh Wooding Law School's Legal Education Certificate, LEC, in 2002. Upon graduating, his commitment to serve Grenada brought him straight home, where he commenced practicing law at Grant, Joseph and Company. Deacon Mitchell immediately distinguished himself as a formidable lawyer, representing many individuals and businesses, business entities. His determination and drive propelled him through the ranks of the legal fraternity, and in 2005, he acquired Grant, Joseph and Company, a mere 3.5 years after he began his career. In 2016, Deacon Mitchell opened another law firm, Mitchell and Company. This maneuver was strongly influenced by his vision to create more employment for young and upcoming lawyers. His ambitions have always been tethered to his desire to give back, and he has never divorced himself from the community. Deacon Mitchell's collective experiences as a teacher, mentor, lawyer, and youth advocate shaped his commitment to Grenada and motivated his decision to enter the political arena. On June 23, 2022, only 8 months into his political career, Deacon Mitchell led his party to victory. He was sworn in on the 24th of June, 2022, as the 9th Prime Minister of Grenada. As Prime Minister, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell is working with his cabinet of ministers to move Grenada forward, building the foundation for an equitable society that takes pride in its culture, heritage, and identity. It now gives me the greatest of pleasure to invite to the podium the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, Prime Minister of Grenada.
The question we have to ask ourselves is, do we want a society that we plan, that we set goals and work towards achieving them? Or do we want a society where we get up and say, whatever happens, happens? That is ultimately the test that we must pass. A society does not improve by chance. We don't become wealthy by chance.
We have the best Mitchell and we like it. Young, intelligent, full of vibes. The best Mitchell and we like it. Deacon Mitchell won't tell you no lie. We have the best Mitchell and we like it. Young, intelligent, full of vibes. Mitchell and we like it. Deacon Mitchell won't tell you no lies. Oh gosh, Deacon intelligent, wow, he's so magnificent. Oh gosh, the people he represent, yes, and he will not relent. Oh gosh, the country have at heart, not an opinion, that is a fact. With Deacon the future real bright. Go vote, go vote, go vote, go vote. We vote in the heart, the heart, the heart, the heart. Go vote, go vote, go vote, go vote. All right, stick it right by the heart. We have the best Mitchell and we like it. Young, intelligent, full of vibes. The best Mitchell and we like it. Deacon Mitchell won't tell you no lie. We have the best Mitchell and we like it. Young, intelligent, full of vibes. The best Mitchell and we like it. Deacon Mitchell won't tell you no lies. Voting Deacon for Prime Minister. Oh, for a prosperous Grenada. Let's travel this path together. Oh, with Deacon on our side, the future
Thank
real
you.
bright.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Right, it sounds like you're ready to party? All right, so I like the energy. Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure to be with you this evening. And I want to start, obviously, by recognizing all of our distinguished guests who are with us this evening. I think Ambassador Forrester's list was as detailed and as extensive as I could ever wish it to be. But nonetheless, I obviously want to recognize my colleagues who traveled from Grenada with me to be here. And since I know the table is a little back, I still want to make sure that everybody gets to see them. So I would start with our queen, Dr. Tessa Sincere. Dr. Sincere, if you don't mind standing and just coming out a little, so that everyone gets to see you. She would say to me she doesn't like the doctor thing, just Tessa. But the truth is, it's not an honorary doctorate, it's an earned doctorate. So, so I think it's important that we recognize Dr. Sincere. She is the caretaker for the constituency of St. Andrew Northeast. She ran in the last elections. Prior to that, she also served as a senator in our upper house of parliament. And she's really doing a lot of work, serving on a number of boards, continuing to look after her constituency. And she is the recording secretary of the National Democratic Congress. So I'm very happy to have her with me this evening. So Dr. Sincere, thank you very much for coming. Ambassador Nixon, if you don't mind simply standing so that everyone knows who Ambassador Nixon is. So Ambassador Nixon formerly served as Grenada's ambassador to China, if I am not mistaken, under the former National Democratic Congress. Is that correct, sir? Right, so despite what they tell you, it is not only young people who's around. We have some people who've been around for a while who are still continuing to serve. He's still serving as an ambassador in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade. So thank you, Dr. Nixon, for being here. We have the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. So Mr. Barry, I'd ask you to come out. You need to come out because the pillars are... Sorry, this is a step-out time. No hiding. I will say that they don't have him on the agenda to speak tonight. I don't know why. So thank you, General Secretary. We have, of course, our ambassador for the diaspora, Mr. Forrester. And he doesn't normally speak from a script, so I'm not so sure what happened tonight. But he and the General Secretary have certain things in common. So maybe that's why he stuck to his script this evening. So again, I want to thank you, Ambassador, for accompanying us and being with us this evening. I have Ms. Leslie, who's my assistant and who makes sure that I actually attend these events by remembering them and scheduling everything and keeping me in track. So, Ms. Leslie, thank you again. And we have Mr. Charles, who is part of the security detail. I want to recognize some friendly faces that I'm seeing here tonight, who I actually met the first time I visited Florida in my capacity as a politician, which was not too long ago, because Florida, in fact, is sort of where it all started in the diaspora. So I certainly want to recognize Mr. Holness, who's here with us tonight. Thank you again, sir, for coming. Is Mr. Campbell here? No? He's on his way. All right. So I want to recognize Mr. Freddie Figures. Mr. Figures, if you don't mind. Again, these were some of the folks who, from the very earliest of days, not knowing me, came out to offer the support, the help and assistance in my then very early fledgling political career. And so I want to thank you again for coming back to be with us this evening. I want to make a special mention of a number of persons. Sorry, I'm almost doing the vote of thanks for whoever has to do the vote of thanks, so forgive me. I want to make special mention of the NDC Florida chapter executives. Leslie, if you and your team can just come out and stand a little so that everyone can see and recognize you, because without them, I would not be here tonight, you would not be here tonight. So I think it's important that we recognize the people who are behind the scene. So Leslie and the team, if you can stand. I know some of you may be sitting. There we go. Who am I missing? You can come forward, come forward. I want to make sure we don't miss any of you. And forgive me for a little bit for singling out my aunt, Maria, real aunt, blood aunt, who's in Orlando and travels all the way up every time I'm here to lend both her family, personal, and chapter support. So thank you, Auntie. Right, we have one of the Neds, but there are 3 Neds. So I also want to thank the Neds in particular for hosting us last night as well. So thank you very much to the NDC executive members. You've made this possible. And I certainly appreciate the tremendous work and effort that you've put into making sure that we have a room full of wonderful looking, beautiful people. You all look fantastic tonight. Thank you very much for coming out. Thank you. So I do have a bit of a prepared text, but I'll probably divert a little bit from it and perhaps just speak a little bit from the heart. You know, the diaspora, I said it pretty early after my engagement with Florida, that if elections were called in the diaspora, I was confident that the National Democratic Congress was going to win all 15 of the seats that we had in Grenada. And so I say this in earnest because I think I certainly recognize that very early you offered your support, your defense, your resources, your mouths, almost all of the resources you had to support the change that I think we so badly needed in Grenada. And so I think myself and the other members of the National Democratic Congress are under no illusion that the diaspora in general, and certainly this NDC chapter, played a pivotal role in ensuring that you help give us momentum and to help turn the tide to make sure that it could have been, in fact, the change that I think Grenadians deserved to ensure that our politics went in a different direction. So I want you to give yourselves a round of applause for that. And I'm even happier that you have doubled down and reinforced the support, the resources, the commitment, your opinions to ensuring that the administration doesn't say one thing and do another thing, and that we remain true to the cause of ensuring that all Grenadians get an opportunity to be successful. Because while politics is competitive at elections time, it is vitally important that we appreciate that as the government, we represent all of Grenada, all Grenadians, and we need to make sure that all Grenadians get an opportunity to be able to be prosperous, to be able to live a healthy, sustainable, an enjoyable life, and more importantly, to ensure that the next generation of Grenadians have examples, good examples, by which they can pattern themselves. And I know, certainly, I think in my 20s and 30s, politics, and perhaps even up to the point in time when I entered politics, was not something that was attractive. And I give an example. I attended an event at my daughter's school, and one of the young ladies, they must have been 7 or 8, she was asked what she wanted to be when she grew up. And she said she wanted to be a politician. And there was a collective gasp of no. Because that is how politics and politicians were perceived. But you can't change your country if the politicians and the politics is one that isn't attractive, is one that discourages rather than encourages persons to get involved. And so, by the fact that this room is full with all of you tonight, I take this as a sign that we are beginning to mark a new era in Grenadian politics, where people view politics as something that is positive, where people view supporting a political party as something that is positive, because they believe the political party and the government, by extension, is acting for the people in the best interest of the people. And therefore, I want to ensure and pledge to you that as Prime Minister, I remain committed to ensuring that the politics in Grenada is a politics about serving the people. We may not always get it right. We are certainly human and we will make mistakes. And given the fact that we are still relatively rookies in government and in politics, I'm sure there are things, and I'm sure the learning curve remains steep. But it's important for us to remain humble, because oftentimes the humility goes out the door the day after the politicians are sworn in. It's important for us to remain humble. It's important for us to remain grounded and connected with the people. And that includes the diaspora. So a forum like this is not just about celebrating, obviously it is, about partying, but it's about assuring you that we remain true and committed to engaging, to meeting, to hearing from you, and to subjecting ourselves to your views, your thoughts, so that when, for example, I live here tonight, I'm clear as to what are the concerns or challenges or even the counsel that you may have for me and the government. So thank you again for coming out tonight and for being here with me. I just want to give a quick summary of, I think, some of the things that have happened over the last year, and as well as to talk about some of the major initiatives that we have in the next coming months and in the next year or so. Now, and I say this because it's quite easy to forget, and a day is like a year in politics and a year is like a decade. And so from a context of where we were coming from, certainly from a political party, we were coming from an era where the National Democratic Congress had lost the last 2 elections, which is a 10-year period, devastatingly badly. We had not won a single seat in Parliament. And I kind of say that we created in Grenada by the ballot what the Chinese have been able to create in China, perhaps through another means, which is a one-party state. Because effectively, we had one party having all of the seats in Parliament. So there was no opposition, there was no alternative voice within the official institutions of governance. And so we came from that and reversed that in what I would call a relatively short period of time. I did not get involved in politics until the summer of 2021. And I became political leader of the party on the 31st of October, 2021. And we had elections in June 2022. And therefore, one may argue that the result ought to have been another 15-0, but it wasn't. It was 9-6. And testimony to the growth and strength of the party, it is now 10-5, because Sister Delma Thomas has seen the light and has recognized that we all need to go in the direction that is better for Grenada. And so I want to shout out and thank her for taking the bold and courageous step that she took. And so politically, we are 10-5. And we've been able to tackle major issues in Grenada which have been outstanding for decades. And so when we talk about, for example, the fact that we paid public servants their pension, it is not just the fact of the payment, but the fact that this issue plagued the country for 40 years. And no government, past NDC administrations, NNP administrations, were bold or courageous enough to say, You cannot treat your people like that. You need to end this squabble, and you need to ensure that when people have worked for your country, if they're entitled to their pensions, that the pensions be paid to them. So this was not just about money, but it's about the principle of how you treat your citizens. And so, in a couple of months, we resolved to do and did what past administrations never did over 40 years, which is to end this ongoing conflict, pay public workers their pensions upon retirement, and going forward, they will continue to receive their pensions. Now, we are embarking upon regularizing the public service. And that is important because coming out of the structural adjustment program, Grenada had significant debts where our debt to GDP ratio was as much as probably anywhere between 110 to 130%. And it meant that the government froze the public service, but kept hiring persons on all kinds of ad hoc contracts for service, contract off service, temporary, all kinds of things. So we've ended up in a situation where you have people who are sitting right next to each other, doing the same job, but earning vastly different salaries and vastly different terms and conditions of employment. It clearly is going to demoralize the person who's not being paid as well as the person who's being paid. And we've got thousands of persons who are in that position. They have no pension, they have no vacation, national insurance is not being paid for them, etc., etc. So it's a mammoth task. But again, we have not shied away from it. We have said we will treat with it, and we've begun the process of doing so because we recognize that a country is about its people. It's not about the government. And if your citizens are not being treated fairly, and if that unfair treatment is coming from the government, then we are not going to build a society that's inclusive or cohesive, or it's going to go in the same direction that we need it to go. So we are tackling this issue. We've started the regularization process. There are public servants who've been acting in positions for 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 8 years. We are taking it on and we are dealing with it. So Cabinet just approved, for example, the regularization of 111 teachers who have been acting or holding temporary positions as teachers, in some instances for as many as 8, 9, 10 years. Now, the consequences of these things are devastating on people. If you go to a bank and you ask for a job letter and it says you're a temporary teacher, the bank isn't going to lend you any money. And so you cannot leverage your job to actually improve your standard of living or your family's standard of living. So again, it's not just about the immediate cost of the money, but the impact it has on our citizens and our welfare and our way of life. So we are happy to address those issues. It is not to say that we do not have financial constraints or limitations, we do, but we recognize that in the long run, if a teacher can get a salary, can get a loan, if a teacher can help her child go to university using her job, that's the power of employment. But if you can't use your employment to leverage financial resources from the financial institutions or the banking institutions or the credit unions, you are almost unemployed because you are essentially living paycheck to paycheck, and it means nothing to you. So these are some of the issues that we are tackling. And sometimes we may not see the immediate or obvious benefit of it, but we recognize that in the long run, it certainly will empower our citizens to be in a position where they can be proud of the jobs they do, they can be more motivated, they can be more productive, because they would be in a position to take care of themselves and to take care of their families. There are simple things we've done. For example, we moved from a system where public servants were paid monthly to where they're paid bi-monthly. Again, there were persons who said those things would never happen, and they happen within a matter of months. And I speak of this because if you create a society where the citizens have no faith in the government, because the government simply never does what it says it will do, then you create citizens who do not have faith in their country, who do not believe in their country, and invariably the country will fail. And so it's important for us to ensure that we create citizens who believe in the state institutions, who want to be part of the state institutions, and who want to make their country a better place. And I have no doubt that all of you here tonight who are Grenadians and who are friends of Grenadians share that commitment. So, thank you. Ambassador Forrester has spoken a lot about what we are doing for education. I am unapologetic about this. I'm only standing here because I had the opportunity to be educated. I went to public schools all my life, pre-primary, primary, secondary, and I view the University of the West Indies as a public school because it is largely funded by the governments of the Caribbean. It is our university. And by the way, it's one of the top 50 universities in the world. So I think as Caribbean people, we have to be proud of that fact. And so I recognize that for an ordinary boy or girl in Grenada, if they do not have the opportunity to get an education, they do not have the opportunity, essentially, to make something of themselves, to make their families and to make their villages and, by extension, the country proud. So anything that I can do to get rid of obstacles that prevents our students from having access to education, having access to quality education, and having access to education that is dynamic and reflective of this century, I'm prepared to fight that obstacle with everything that I have in me. And so whether it's eliminating registration fees, getting rid of the tuition fees, beginning to diversify our education system, reversing this cultural norm that it is still the academics that are important over the skills, all of these issues are issues that we are tackling. So we intend to promote technical vocational education as much as academics. We intend to make it clear that the creative arts is just as important as science and math, and that music and language and writing and painting and drumming and costume making is all part of the education system, and we need to make sure that our students are exposed to that and that they understand that. We need to make sure, and Freddie, that's why I singled him out, that our students understand that we simply cannot be the consumers of technology only, that we need to understand it and we must be able to produce the technology as well to solve our own challenges, as well as to help the world solve the several challenges that we face together. So, for me, ensuring that we spend the time, the resources, and the effort in improving and fixing our education system is absolutely vital, because to me that is the single biggest sector that has the potential to continue the transformation of Grenada and to make sure that Grenada is a sustainable place 100 years from now. And then I will touch on a topic that I know is probably most dear to the hearts of everyone in the diaspora, which is healthcare. You know, and I'm sure many of you would want to spend more time in Grenada, may even want to retire, but you're probably a little hesitant with your concerns over the state of healthcare in Grenada. I want to assure you, it's not going to be something that happens overnight, but we recognize that healthcare does have the potential, and our government views it this way, as an industry, as a business, as a social good, to genuinely transform Grenada. And so it's been a pipe dream for perhaps since Grenada has become an independent country, but we intend to make good on this reality. We have acquired 89 acres of land, which will be the site of what we hope will become our new teaching hospital, which allows us to promote medical tourism. And so, knowing how this issue is important to you, I want to use this opportunity to invite members of the diaspora who are interested. This is a fantastic opportunity from an investment point of view, from those who work in the medical health industry, from a capacity, knowledge, expertise, experience point of view, to be able to, in a sense, ensure that this becomes successful. To a large extent, our vision for this is that we've done what we need to do, which is to acquire the site. We want this process to be driven and led by the private sector. We want this process to be driven and led by persons who want to invest in our healthcare industry, because we genuinely believe that this is an opportunity to transform not just healthcare in Grenada, but to transform the economy of Grenada. And so I would certainly be happy to hear from anyone who wants to put their hands up to serve in any way to help us make this a reality. This is something that we are absolutely committed to doing because we think it is good for Grenada, it is good for Grenadians in the diaspora, and overall we think it will be good for the Caribbean as well. So we are not saying we will fix our healthcare problem by building a building. We are saying the building will be symbolic of all of the things we need to do to get our health and medical situation into the 21st century and beyond. So that is something that we are very keen to do. We have acquired the lands, so the next stage obviously is the concepts, the financial modeling, et cetera, so that we can get this and make it a reality in the not too distant future. So housing is another major issue. We are committed to building, and when I say we, it doesn't mean the government has to build it, but we have to facilitate that to ensure it happens. at least 500 Grenadian homes to help with the housing situation in Grenada. Again, we view the housing as an area that the diaspora, particularly from an investment perspective, can get involved in. Because we know many of you who want to come home don't want to deal with the challenges of having to buy the land yourself, deal with the lawyers, deal with the banks, deal with the contractors, and construct the home. You'd prefer to actually have the home built so that you can simply walk in and buy the home. And we believe there's a real opportunity here, both from an investment and from a use of technology point of view, to begin the process of transforming the housing stock in Grenada. So I certainly want to invite you again to look at getting involved and investing in this area. It is not to say that all of the traditional support that you've given, the remittances, which you give and continue to give, all of the fundraising efforts that goes towards helping our schools, the supply of medical equipment, medicines, all of that is required. But I want to make it clear that the mindset where we simply ask the diaspora to give us immediate material goods and then say thank you and bye-bye, those days are over. We need your expertise. We need your connections. We need your strategic thinking as to how we take Grenada to its next 50 years. And I would therefore like to talk about the 50th anniversary of independence, which essentially will commence with an official ceremony on the 31st of October at the Carenage. If you can come down for that, we invite you. If you can't, we certainly invite you to come between October and February, because we're planning a list of extensive activities for the entire year. So we are going from October 2023 to October 2024. We are going to have events that will culminate naturally on the 7th of February, but after that, each parish is going to be given the opportunity during a particular month to be able to have a parish celebration. And we want to make sure that it's not just St. George's that captures the bulk of the activities, but that throughout the length and breadth of Grenada, the independence activities are captivated. It is going to be a dynamic set of activities. Some are events, some will be commemorative, some will be legacy in nature. And I say legacy in nature, and I would want to perhaps just talk about the first act that we have done, which is to declare the 19th of October as a national holiday. Now, I know the 19th, for obvious reasons, stirs up a lot of emotions and is as tragic and as controversial a day in our history. But it is our history, and we can't run from it. We can't pretend it didn't happen. And as part of our growing up as a nation, we have to acknowledge that there's good, there's bad, there's indifference, but all of it is what makes us Grenada and Grenadians and who we are. So it's taken 40 years. Sometimes things just don't happen before their time. But I'm quite proud to be the Prime Minister who was bold enough, courageous enough to accept that our Prime Minister and our cabinet cannot be assassinated. And we pass this day as if nothing happened with no official recognition from the state of Grenada. Right. But I also recognize that, the 19th of October isn't the be-all and end-all of Grenada. There was Grenada before the 19th, there will be Grenada after. And so from a nation-building perspective, and particularly to ensure that persons who are 40 years and under understand the history of Grenada, we thought it was fitting that we mark the 19th of October not just by the tragedy that happened on the 4th, but by recognizing that there are Grenadians who have sacrificed. In some cases, the ultimate price, as it happened on the 19th, but in many cases, their entire lives, building Grenada. And so we are marking the 19th as National Heroes Day, not because we are saying it's only the persons on the 19th who are heroes, but because we're saying you have to pick a day. And what more of a significant date than the 19th, so that as a country, we can have the discussion as to who we want to be recognized as our national heroes. And so as part of our 50th anniversary, we would welcome the discourse, the discussion, so that by the time we get to October 19th, 2024, we can actually name the national heroes, recognize them, thank their families for the support that they've given, and be able to unveil the statues or busts of them so that we can accept that these are our national heroes. My government is currently negotiating to, I would use the term get back in inverted commas, because the negotiations are amicable, and I think the lessee recognizes what we want to achieve. So there's a site called the Rivera site, which is located immediately next to the Camahon Park. It's 5 acres of land, so if you're on Wall Street, you can see currently it's in vegetation. That land was leased by the former administration to a business person, a developer, and we've asked that person to surrender the lease to the government, because we want to be in a position to combine the Camahon Park and the Rivera site, and to create a national park that essentially will become known as National Heroes Park, which allows Grenadians to have open, wider green space on Grandlands Beach, and that ensures that future generations of Grenadians have open, uninhibited access to a major green space on Grandlands Beach forever and ever and ever. So we recognize that we have to balance development, economic activity, with ensuring that we also preserve those aspects of Grenada that are important to Grenadians, and to make sure that future generations of Grenadians will also have the ability to access them. So for instance, we don't take it for granted that if we don't protect and look after places like Grandlands Beach, and if we don't ensure that the developers and investors who come to Grenada understand what we're trying to do, that one day we may wake up like in Jamaica and find out that all beaches are private beaches, or that you have to pay to go to the beach, etc. So we've made it clear, and we've instituted the policy that if the state owns any land on Grandlands Beach, that it will only be transferred via leasehold, which means if you don't perform under the lease, we can get back the land, which means when the term of the lease expires, we can renegotiate with you. And so we've done that for the Radisson site. We've reacquired the freehold, and it therefore means we're the landlord, the hoteliers are the tenants, and therefore we can ensure that we can partner with each other and that they can do what the things they need to do. And if they don't, we have the ability to be able to terminate the lease or to call them in and have a discussion. And so we've done this. Right. We've done this not just for Radisson, but the Kowana Bay site, which is located on the former Flamboyant Hotel site. We've also acquired this property. The aim is to have a developer continue and finish the stalled development, which was stalled under the former administration. But again, the terms of doing business will be that we are leasing the property to you. Now, I want to make this clear. This is not anything new. The father of Grenada, Sir Eric Matthew Geary, never sold any of the lands on Grandlands Beach. It was always leasehold. And so all we are doing is going back to the principles established by our founding fathers, which is, if it is strategic, important government land and you wish to develop it, we will lease it to you so that you can honor and do the things you said. But if you don't, we want to be in a position where we can get back the land, give it to another developer, or ensure that the next generation of Grenadians have access to the lands. So I mentioned some of this because I think it's important for us to understand that as a country, as small as we are a sovereign state, and it's important that we plan not just for now, but that we can plan for the next 50 years, the next 100 years, so that Grenadians then knew that we were prepared to think about them rather than just ourselves when we are making decisions about the government. So we want our 50th anniversary to be a reflective one. We want it to be an honest one. We want us to have the debate and the dialogue in a civil manner. We are not always going to agree, and divergent views are welcome. But I also want us to love one another. I want us to cherish one another. I want us to appreciate that it is better to have an argument than a physical fight. I want us to appreciate that it takes all of us, young, old, in between, to be able to build and move Grenada forward. And so I got involved to do just that. I will admit there are times it's difficult. There are times I may scratch my head. Thankfully, there are no gray hairs as yet. There are times when I may wonder if it's all worth it and what will it be like 10 years, 15 years from now. But I know that you can't make a change by being on the sideline. You can't improve by not being prepared to make sacrifices. And for the hundreds and thousands of Grenadians who've sacrificed one way or the other in the past so that I could have benefited from the life I got, the free education, the ability to go to school, the ability to make something of myself, that I owe it to the next generation of Grenadians to make sure that I too can give back, I too make a little sacrifice to make sure that a next young man or young woman feels proud enough that they too, when they become successful, would be prepared to give back to their country, to give back to their family, to give back to their schools, to give back to their village, and help someone else along the way. Because, as we say in Grenada, it's the one cocoa that fills the basket. So, I want to encourage all of you, in your own way, to put your one cocoa in the basket so that we can continue to fill our basket in the hope that one day the basket does overflow and that the next generation of Grenadians can benefit from that. So thank you very much for coming out tonight. You all look truly, truly amazing. Well, look at Rockin' G. You know. So enjoy the dinner, enjoy the dancing, and I look forward. This is inaugural, so I'm sure on the next occasion I'll be happy to be here. And remember, we all have to promote and market Grenada, so please tell your friends, your families, if they haven't visited Grenada as yet, they're missing out on heaven on earth. Thank you.
We have the best Mitchell and we like it. Young, intelligent, full of vibes. The best Mitchell and we like it. Deacon Mitchell won't tell you.
Let's give a big applause to Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, what we'd like to do is to share with you a slide. It is all about a resource center for the National Democratic Congress. In other words, a home for the National Democratic Congress. This slide will be shown to you, and you will have an opportunity to what is called buy a block. Like a cement block, buy a block for that project. So, Florida, looks as though you have a lot of work to do again. So let's give it up for Florida, buying 1,000 blocks or 10,000 blocks. Before the end of the term, first term, we would like to at least start construction of the NDC Resource Center. That resource center will house the National Democratic Congress Party, and our General Secretary would have a beautiful official office. So we are calling for your support. Junior, we have the slide up. Okay. Those of you who can see it, you will recognize the various facets of that construction project. And we encourage you to remember the Buy a Block project in Grenada for the National Democratic Congress Resource Center. Thank you very much, and continue to enjoy a wonderful evening. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Terry Forrester. And now I welcome to the podium the Vice Mayor of Miramar, Alexandra Davis, and also Mr. Dale Holness, the former Mayor of Broward County. They are going to make a special presentation to the Prime Minister. Prime Minister. Let's hold one.
Honorable Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, last time you were here, I welcomed you as leader of the opposition. You're now leader of a country. Let's give it up to him again. I thought back then, based on your presentations, that you were youthful. As everyone can see, he's a young man, dynamic, innovative, and certainly we've learned that he's leading with compassion in a bold way with high intellectual capacity, moving the Spice Island now God's special place on earth. Yes. Honorable Prime Minister, I'm joined by a good friend, someone who I've mentored over the years, a dynamic leader here in South Florida, Miss Alexandra P. Davis, current Vice Mayor of the city of Miramar, young and dynamic, actually a graduate of University of West Indies also. So you share something in common. And also my friend Richard Campbell, we were together when you came at that fundraiser. Richard, would like to have Richard join us also. He's a former commissioner in Lauderhill and a candidate again for Lauderhill City Commission. There are two other people that are very close to me that I'd like to have join me here also, and that is the dynamic computer scientist who started building computers when he was just about 16 years old, Mr. Freddie Figures, you mentioned earlier. And certainly I'm sure he'll help with building some of that technology that you're looking to do in Grenada. Also, a very good friend of mine, Dr. Larry Pierre. Dr. Pierre, come on up. Someone that I know is always there to help us, a leader in the medical field in South Florida. Now, my good friend has a little problem. She went to the dentist, and her voice is not as big as mine. So she's going to do a little bit of talking, but a big presentation. Alexandra Davis.
Thank you so much, Mayor, former Mayor Holness. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be here, Honorable Prime Minister, and to really share with our Grenadian brothers and sisters this really grand occasion. It's your inaugural. I know hopefully next year when I'm invited back, I'll be in better spirits. Normally I'm pretty lively, but once you go to that dentist, you know how that is. Them, I mean, before they, you know, when they numb you and then they go into your gum, I mean, it's just the worst. So please bear with me. But I would not want to miss this occasion at all. On behalf of myself and the entire Miramar Commission, which includes our Mayor, Wayne Messam, Commissioners Coburn, Commissioners Chambers, and Commissioner Barnes, we'd like to present to the Honorable Prime Minister Mitchell the key to the city of Miramar.
Commissioner Michael Joseph, would you come on up, please? And Mr. Prime Minister, I look forward to visiting Grenada again. I was there before. It's a beautiful place. And when I come, I want to make sure I bring some folks who can help build with some money to help you achieve the things that you're seeking to do. Thank you for being here.
And there is one more presentation to the Prime Minister. It's from Mr. Kenneth Ned. He's the Deputy Chairperson of the NDC Florida chapter.
This is going to be real short. On behalf of the NDC Florida chapter, and this was done by my son. He's actually here tonight. Kyron. Kyron, you understand? He's back there. Okay. We love you.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Prime Minister. And now we have a little entertainment, and it's a song, and it's being done by Anelia Wells Miller. She is a 22-year-old aspiring opera singer. You heard her before when she sang the national anthems. She's from Miramar. She's the daughter of Grenadian-born Roxanne Benoit and the granddaughter of Roy and Doreen Wells. It is her honor to represent her family's homeland, a place that she holds dear to her heart. She has been singing since the age of 2 and grew up performing at the St. Christopher Episcopal Church. Around the age of 9, she began taking vocal lessons and then went on to compete in many local talent shows. She attended Miramar Elementary Parkway Middle School for the Arts, Dillard Center for the Arts, that's Dillard High School, and Florida State University, FSU. She recently graduated from FSU with a Bachelor of Music, BM, in voice performance. She's currently continuing her studies by attending FSU Graduate School of Master of Music in Voice Performance. After obtaining a Master of Music in Voice Performance, she plans on continuing to perform in young artist programs and audition for opera companies around the world to one day obtain employment while representing our beautiful Spice Island. Please welcome to the podium Anelia Wells Miller.
Good evening. I will be singing O mio babbino caro by Puccini, and it's an Italian opera aria. O mio babbino caro, mi piace bello, bello, andare in porta Thank you.
Thank you, Anelia. That was wonderful. At this time, we're going to have a poem by Sherian.
Doctor, just see a doctor that went to someone who went to medical school in Grenada. But I don't introduce him. I know. Okay. Okay. Good evening. The poem is entitled O Grenada. O Grenada, you are a beautiful, elegant lady in a sea of blue. Rainbow ribbons in your hair. Clear waters singing welcome. O Grenada, the forest plays with your smoky mist. Plumage birds parade in flowing trees. Wind whisks their welcome. Clouds flirt above your sand and seas. O Grenada, I remember your salt breeze running through my hair. Dancing dingies, kissing the horizon side to side with the rhythm of the tide. Homes dot and grip your lush green mountainside. O Grenada, sun and moon frolic in your waves. Stars smile and wink at your splendor. Frogs and cicadas serenade lovers in your moonlight glow. No clocks here, man. Time is slow. O Grenada, I thank God for you. My life is richer, for I was once your adopted son. You have captured my soul and linked me to your shores. O Grenada, you are family and friend, the mother of my dreams fulfilled, and I, a prisoner of your beauty to my very end. O Grenada.
And that poem was written by Dr. Stan Suchka, and he's alumni of the St. George's University. Chris?
I'd like to make a quick announcement. We have a cell phone here. Someone forgot it in the bathroom. As a matter of fact, I know who the phone belongs to. It belongs to Pam. Alec, you could come back here. Oh, Uncle Sterl, here you are. All right, so we're moving right along. We have a special award presentation to Dr. Nicholas Earl Braffett. Nicholas Earl Braffett is Grenadian born. Dr. Nicholas Earl Braffett is a highly accomplished business executive and arguably one of the Caribbean's most successful entrepreneurs. He is a visionary leader who founded and co-founded multiple businesses, some of which grew to global market leaders. Braffett is well known in the technology industry for his accomplishment as the Chief Technical Officer of Flextronics. His vision and technical leadership were instrumental in helping build Flex into one of the largest technology companies in the world with revenues of more than $30 billion, operations in over 35 countries, and approximately 300,000 employees. Nicholas Brafitt co-founded 2 Silicon Valley-based investment firms, both of which were very highly regarded in the technology industry. Dr. Brafitt has served on the board of directors of several publicly traded companies and has been named multiple times by Savoy magazine as one of the most influential black corporate directors in America. He has also served on the board of more than 20 private companies in the US, Japan, China, India, Brazil, and Argentina. Nicholas Brafitt is an innovator with many patented and patent-pending inventions. And Mr. Brafitt, who is also the son of Sir Nicholas Brafitt, a former party leader and prime minister, is an ardent supporter of the Florida chapter and by extension, the National Democratic Congress. He has contributed significantly to the party and most recently gave support to the NDC campaign in which the party was victorious in 2022. We are therefore pleased to present him with the recognition award. Mr. Brafitt is traveling at this time in India, and our General Secretary, Mr. Larry Barry, will accept on his behalf.
Thank you. And now we have a surprise award. This next award goes to someone who is no stranger to the organizations and community development. As a high school student, he started championing the cause of his schoolmates. As president of the Student Council, he led his students into a massive demonstration in the town of St. George for better learning conditions for his alma mater, Wesley College Secondary School. Yes. Shortly thereafter, the school was relocated to a more conducive facility in Queen's Park, St. George. He then became a vocal leader in the National Student Council. On leaving school, he became a leader of the National Youth Movement, organizing young people throughout the council under the banner of the National Youth Council. His leadership caught the attention and admiration of many politicians, and the late George Brizan took him under his wings. And when the NDC was formed in 1987, this young man became a founding member of the party with responsibility for publishing the party's newspaper, the Grenadian Tribune. When the NDC won the general elections in 1990, he was appointed press secretary to Prime Minister Sir Nicholas Brafitt. 5 years later, he migrated to the United States and instantly became an active member of the NDC New York chapter, where he held all of the executive positions for the past 2 decades. He played a significant role in providing leadership to the New York chapter at critical junctures in its existence. 2 years ago, his wife and daughter decided they had enough of the cold weather in the north, and the family decided to move to the Sunshine State. Where else? It was hard for him to leave his well-established business and make the move to the unknown, but family meant more to him than money. So they ended up here in South Florida. And even before he found his home, he started working for the NDC, making phone calls and meeting with nationals here to establish a presence in the state. Tonight's gala is a testimony of his hard work and visionary leadership for our people at home and here in the diaspora. As the party celebrates its 36th anniversary this month, October, there is no better time to present the Distinguished Service Award to no other person than the one and only Mr. Leslie Martin McQueen. And we have Dr. Tessa Sincere to present the award. All right, congratulations, Leslie. I know you're surprised. Chris.
Sharian? Okay.
I just want to make an announcement here. If you look at your program, you will see that there is a QR code there that you can scan. It's the chapter's first journal. In there, you will find everything that you need. The history of the NDC party. There is also the membership form. And guess what? It is clickable. And you could submit right now your application. We also have a few advertisements in there. We also have the Prime Minister's address, also the chair of the NDC Florida chapter. So all you got to do is scan that QR code and you will enjoy. Yes? Thank you.
So every year, we have a toy drive where we collect toys to send to Grenada. And we're going to take the opportunity tonight to launch the toy drive. And I would like to ask Sister Sharon to come up to launch the toy drive.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this auspicious occasion. I will proceed as per protocol already established. This must be working. My role here is to share with you our chapter's plan for the 2023 Christmas Toy Drive. After a very successful drive last year, we decided to focus our efforts by sending educational toys to the children who are institutionalized in our Tri-Island state. I have already reached out to the 10 facilities, and so far, 6 have responded with the information as it pertains to the number of children, their ages, and gender. We're hoping that the other 4 will respond in a timely manner so that those children will all benefit from our toy drive. Our gift registry has been established on Amazon, where members, friends, and families can participate in making purchases for this worthwhile endeavor. You can refer to page 12 in your program for the link which takes you directly to the registry. For those who prefer not to use Amazon, we encourage you to contact Leslie, our chapter's chairman, or myself for the address where you can send your toys. Thanks again for your continued support as we strive to provide our children with an enjoyable Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you, and that's another project that you can get involved with. It's our toy drive. We have it here annually. And also, if you scan the QR code on the journal, is all the information that you will need. It also clickable, and it takes you to Amazon where you can purchase your toys. At this time, I will call on the Deputy Chair of the NDC Florida chapter, Mr. Kenneth Ned, to do the vote of thanks. Ken.
Yes, I think so. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like your attention. I know we have a lot of talking, but this is a time I think that is so important, simply because each of you have made a sacrifice and to make that contribution here tonight. Hello, hello. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the NDC Florida chapter, our executive, committees, members, supporters, and indeed the NDC family as a whole, NDC purpose and value lies on contributing and participating in Grenada's transformation. Please give yourselves a wonderful applause. Now I want you to turn to the person on your left and simply say, thank you. And to the person on your right, and simply say, well done. So, thanks for your presence here tonight. Thanks to every viewing online, to our viewers online. And at this time, our Prime Minister, our Prime Minister, could I get your attention? We, the NDC Florida chapter, want to thank you for as our feature guest speaker. And you hold two important positions. You are the party leader, the NDC party leader, and also Prime Minister. And so I want to ask the audience right now to join with me and to give the Prime Minister a round of applause. Thanks for answering the service to serve others, and we really appreciate what you do. Thank you again, Prime Minister. And now I would like to recognize a few more folks. Of course, we have the delegation that came up from Grenada. We have our caretaker, Dr. Tessa, Sinclair. We have the executive assistant, Ms. Leslie. We have the security, Corporal Neil Charles. We have our general secretary, Mr. Barry. And also, we have our diaspora ambassador, Mr. Nixon. I think he's standing right here. Then we have Grenada's ambassador to Cuba, Mr. Glenn Newell. Oh, he's back here? Okay, good. Then in Florida here, of course, we have the vice mayor of Miramar. I don't know where she's sitting right now. Alexandra Davis, the former mayor of Broward County, Dale Holness. I know he's somewhere around here. We have the former, oh, okay, good. We have the former commissioner of Lauderhill, Richard Campbell. Okay, yes. And of course, we have many representatives from the other chapters like New York, Atlanta, New Jersey, Texas, from California. And we have many guests who have come in from other states, Michigan, and so forth. And so some of you would have made financial as well as in-kind contribution to this and many activities we have had over almost 2 years. But especially tonight, some of you have bought tickets, some of you have participated in the raffle, ads in our journal, sponsor of our gala, and we really want to let you know that we appreciate what you have done. So on behalf of our chair, Mr. McQueen, and myself, we want to recognize and personally extend our heartfelt thanks, especially to the NDC Florida executive team, to our committees, our friends, and our supporters. And I'd like to ask you all to just give that team an applause. Appreciate it. Special thanks to our Master of Ceremonies, a DJ or a musician or presenters, Florida ballroom managers and staff. And of course, in advance, we want to thank you all who have already signed up tonight to be a member or planning to be a member, hopefully in the next week or two. You have seen in a short period of time what a few of us have done. And so we want to ask you to please join us so we could continue this work in building Grenada. Every donation you make, in dollars or in kind, is to help transform Grenada. Yes, transforming Grenada. Thank you, thank you, thank you again. God bless the NDC Florida chapter and each of you. Thank you.
We also want to thank Junior George for streaming the event live on Ride Along. And to all the people who joined us tonight on Ride Along live, we want to thank you for joining us. And to the people who are wondering where they're going to get the link to the toy drive, you could follow us on Facebook, the South Florida, the NDC Florida page, chapter page. You can follow us. We will post the link there. And the people in the room tonight, you could scan your program and you will find the link in the journal. So once again, this is the end of the formal part of the evening. And we want to thank everyone for coming. And from here on, we're going to have a little music. We're going to dance. We also have a raffle draw, which we're going to do a little later, and some dope prizes. So we still have a full evening ahead of us.
And that's a wrap on the official part of the ceremony. I was your host, Trisha Campbell, and of course,
I'm Chris Monroe. Thank you.
and now let's have some fun. Thanks, guys. Good night.
Listen, last day jamming inside the band, me and a grand and woman. I was tired and sleepy. She said, let's go home, Specky. Huh. Then she opened up the stove and say, meat.
Take the mic down.
And she telling me, get up on it. I said, darling, I don't feeling hungry. She get vexed and start explaining to me. Yeah, she. Let me tell you that, Inspector. Eating better. Make yourself at home, young fella. Eating better. Don't worry about the pepper. Oh no. Eating better. Your teeth must be sharp as ever. Eating better. Bend down. Right down. Don't pause. Ease yours. Eat it. I relax and I watching to see the move she making. Mister, why you acting funny? Like you eat somewhere already. Who me? She say, Andre Donald came in my house before. And he ate up all and begged me for more. That's the only time I go feel so good. Specky, if you only bend down and eat my food, it tastes good. Stop behaving shy, Inspector. Eating better. I care for you, young fella. Eating better. You are my entertainer. Eating better. When you're done, you must remember. Eating better. Bend down and eat. Right down and eat. Don't play and eat. Stay there. Eat it.
But they have to be mad even before Renat. Yeah. All them digging her out. Yeah. Don't care what they say. No. Playing job all the way. Yeah. Chapter from the north, joking. Chapter from the south, whining. Chapter from the east, grinding. Chapter from the west, whining. Tell me what you play. I want to know what you play. Tell me what you play. I want to know what you playing. Neta playing. Fat boy playing. Godbot playing. Donna playing.
Well, good evening. This has come to the end of this wonderful NDC gala in Florida. And Prime Minister and his delegation were here. Had a wonderful time. And our congratulations to the NDC Florida chapter who has made all this happen here this evening. They have brought out over 250 persons. Right now, I have the pleasure of interviewing a Grenadian who has been in Florida for too long. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Terry.
Absolutely.
I appreciate and admire the role that you're playing with the government, you know.
Thank you.
But I know what you have to offer, and I'm so proud of the Prime Minister and what he brings to the table, you know. I'm very glad to be a part of this organization.
Fantastic.
And
Wonderful.
it's lovely to see everybody again,
So
you
what
know.
have you been doing in Florida for so long?
I'm retired now. I was in business. I was the director of a social service agency for most of my career. Yes. Went to Miami-Dade, went to FIU, and then practiced.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Well, great seeing you.
It's nice seeing you,
And you're
Terry.
looking well.
Thank you. You
Great.
too. Bye-bye.
Fantastic. Okay. All right. I see my friend here, Dennis Charles.
Yes.
Good of you to come all the way up from Atlanta.
Well, it's a pleasure.
To attend this gala.
Yes.
Put on by the National Democratic Congress Party.
That is true.
Yes. Fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes. And I wanted to personally thank you for what you have done in an effort to bring green energy, solar technology to Grenada.
Well, thank you. Well, I'm only doing the job that has been prescribed to me.
Yes.
So, thank you very much.
Right. Well, thank you again. And much, blessings to you.
Thank you.
And I think you are the right man at the right time. Thanks again.
Well, thank you very much. Dennis Charles, he is one of the first persons who are leading the Atlanta chapter.
Yes, the chairperson of the Atlanta chapter here in Georgia.
Wonderful indeed.
All right, thank
and I see my friend out here.
How are you?
Don't go too far, my friend. You can't get away from me.
Nice to see you again, twice in
good
1
to see
year.
you.
It's a wonderful, wonderful year, man.
It is really good to see you. Really good to see you.
success, man. Nice to see a wonderful occasion like this.
Fantastic indeed. Where are you coming from?
North Palm Beach.
North Palm Beach.
Yeah. Just about an hour and 15 minutes from here.
An hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, that's really nice of you to come and give support.
Right. The last time we met on a sad occasion in the funeral, Oliver Joseph funeral.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember indeed. Well,
when you get back to Grenada, say hello to Aaron.
Aaron Moses.
Yeah.
Ambassador Aaron Moses.
Yeah,
I certainly will. Fantastic. Well, thank you, my brother.
Okay.
And thanks for continuing to support the National Democratic Congress in Florida.
Keep up the good.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right. Let me... My brother, you are as yellow as ever.
Yeah, I'm yellow, but it just happened to be I'm like a little bit, what do you call it?
Fantastic. What are your thoughts about this evening's function?
Well, it was a good event, yeah. It was good. Everything looks pretty nice. The Prime Minister made his good words and he said what's going on in Grenada and what have to be done in Grenada.
Yep.
So it was good. It was well attended.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. Absolutely, sir, indeed.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
what are you doing in Florida?
Well, I just come down for the, I did came down. I got invited to come to this function. You know. So I come to check it out, see what's going on, hear what's good views,
Right.
and what's going on, where's the country's going to be going for the couple of years going.
Fantastic.
So it was a good function.
Well, I'm glad you were able to make it, and I'm glad that you appreciate the sentiments expressed by the Prime Minister.
Yep. Well, when the flying game on the building, everything have to be right, So that's not good. Everybody know me out here. Hi, Facebook massive. Everybody flying game will say peace, love, keep strong.
All right. Lovely. Great. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Well, we have here the chairman of the NDC Florida chapter, Leslie McQueen, the man who has received a great award earlier on. Leslie, thank you and congratulations.
Yes, Terry, thank you. We're very happy to have you here with us to celebrate. It's our first anniversary as a chapter. And you've been here along with the Prime Minister and such a wonderful delegation. We are elated to have you guys. And I hope you guys continue to have a good time for the rest of the night and continue to support what we're doing here in Florida.
Yeah. Well, I want to just take this opportunity to share this information with the general public in Grenada. Your chapter has done a great job by financing the air travel, hotel, meals, all by yourself in bringing the delegation from Grenada. Because there is a misconception that taxpayers' money has to pay for these trips. And I just want to make it absolutely and abundantly clear that whenever the Prime Minister and his delegation travels to one of these fundraiser events, it is being financed by that particular chapter.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And you know, we are very happy to do that because we believe having the Prime Minister here with us, it's very important for Grenadians in the diaspora to hear from him as to his plans for the country and what he's doing to help the people of Grenada. Also important is his plan for the diaspora. The diaspora, as you are aware, Terry, are very much involved in what's going on in Grenada. There are lots of professionals in the diaspora that are helping Grenada in different ways and would like to help going forward. So our organization, our chapter, is very pleased that we have been able to buy the tickets, provide the accommodation, transportation, and cover all costs for the Grenada delegation, Prime Minister, yourself, and others to be here with us. And we will do it again, and again, and again, and again, because we believe that having you guys here are extremely important for what we're doing here in Florida.
Well, thank you very much. At least it gives an opportunity to connect with the Grenadian masses in the diaspora and to share what is happening in Grenada. So there is a good exchange. So thank you again very much.
Thank you very much.
Highly appreciate it.
Thank you, Brother Terry.
Indeed. Great. All right. Well, I thought I left you in Grenada.
You did. I just thought I'll follow you guys around a little bit.
The last time I saw you, you were with your brother Kennedy, and never thought that you were in the U.S., but glad to know that you're here.
Right. I actually came up to do a leadership training with an organization I'm working with, International Support Group, and saw that you were having this and thought, let's go support Grenada. So I brought my nephew and a friend along to support.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Good
What a wonderful turnout.
Very good. I'm impressed.
What are your thoughts about the Prime Minister's presentation?
Very good. I was surprised about some things, but as usual, NDC and this NDC in particular, top of the line.
Well, you know, I am really, really elated to see and to feel the kind of love and support that this Prime Minister is receiving from Grenadians in the diaspora. Everybody wants to get a touch of him. Everybody wants a photo of him. Thank God he's young and he has the energy.
And we need to show those back home what is happening here, that it could continue.
Great, wonderful. Well, thank you very much. Continue to enjoy the evening. All right. Well, all right, we have this young lady here.
Terry Forrester.
Yes, indeed. Wow. It's been a while.
It's been a while, absolutely.
What have you been doing here?
Well, I've actually been in the fashion industry for basically my entire life. I still am. I miss Grenada terribly. I'm really due for a visit really soon. But my life has really been involved in fashion, fashion, television, and print as well, print work as well.
Yeah, well, that's terrific indeed. I just did not see you in Grenada for many, many, many years. And I figured out, well, you're some part of the world. Didn't realize it was right here in Miami.
Right here, absolutely. Right here in Miami. Nice to see you. It's been so many years, my God.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Well, really good to see you.
What a pleasure.
Been a pleasure indeed. Wonderful. Okay. All right. Well, we have here His Excellency Ambassador Glenn Noel. He's up from Cuba, and he's here to participate in this event. Brother Noel, what are your thoughts?
Well, I thought
that this was a very well-organized activity, given the fact that the Florida chapter is just 1 year young, and to pull out such a significant activity and to bring out all these Grenadians and friends of Grenadians, I think it's a good initiative. I think we need to congratulate them. I'm grateful for the invitation, and I think it speaks well for the diaspora. So you have your work cut out to be able to integrate and to link with them. They have the drive and the momentum. They are enthusiastic and they want to be engaged. So I think it's up to us to set up the right mechanism in place to get them involved and to contribute towards the development of Grenada. Carrico and Piti Martinique. Thank you.
Well, you couldn't say it any better. I believe indeed that the Grenadian masses in the diaspora are excited about contributing and helping to build Grenada.
I think they are inspired by the type of leadership that exists in Grenada now. Young, youthful leadership with a vision and a commitment and interest in people. And they feel that something good is happening. A new day is dawn, and therefore they are enthusiastic about working for Grenada once again.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much indeed, Ambassador. It's a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Fantastic.
Congratulations and thank you too. I know you'll do a good job.
Well, I continue trying.
Thank you.
All right. I see here this lady, Miss Ann Ferguson. Just wanted to say hello and hi, and to thank you for coming to this event. What are your thoughts?
Very good.
Yep.
Yes.
What are your thoughts regarding the Prime Minister's presentation? The Prime Minister's presentation, what are your thoughts?
Very informative, and I enjoy his speech.
Yep. Wonderful. Well, continue to enjoy yourself. Have a great time. All right. Well, Junior George, you continue to cover wherever you go. And you give me a job this evening. Well, let me see if I can get the attention of someone else out there whom I can have a chat with. Oh, yeah. Here she is. Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
What are your thoughts about this evening's event?
Oh, I think it is wonderful.
Yep. And the Prime Minister's presentation?
It was great. Actually, I think it was very educational.
Wonderful. Are you Grenadian?
I am.
Yeah, from which parish?
From St. John's.
St. John's. Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, my husband actually from St. George's.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and my daughter, she wrote a children's book. It's in Grenada. What do you see?
Great. Well, thank you so very much. The crowd here tonight looks like what, about 200, 250?
About maybe 300.
Wow. Yes, quite a large turnout. Signifies the support for the Prime Minister and the National Democratic Congress. Thank you for coming. Pleasure indeed. Okay. Let me see if I can grab this gentleman here. Yep. Thank you for attending this gala this evening put on by the National Democratic Congress. What excited you about coming here this evening?
The new developments in Grenada. Everything that's been happening now, I've seen a lot. So that motivated me to come down here tonight. I drove 240 miles to be here.
Wow.
From Tampa to down here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, this is really fantastic indeed. To drive 240 miles to come to an event, that's a serious commitment.
Yeah, it's worth it because serious things are happening in Grenada.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm proud, very proud.
What part of Grenada are you from?
Oh, St. David's.
St. David's?
Yeah, I actually have my house in Bellevue, and I come back from time to time. This is my wife behind me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's my wife right here.
Oh, fantastic.
Hey, Kate, come show your face.
All right, well, let's see if we can grab her over here. Yep, come on, come. All right, she's a bit shy, so I'll grab this gentleman here still. Just wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts about this evening?
Beautiful afternoon, beautiful, it's beautiful.
Prime Minister spoke decent, very well. Everything that he said was well. Appreciate it.
And what would you say inspired you to come here this evening?
Well, I'm from Barbados. My wife is a Grenadian, and I support her. And I love coming to this. It's not my first time. I enjoyed it.
How do you compare this activity with activities put on by the Barbados government?
Don't put me on the spot.
All right, okay. Let me grab this buddy here. My friend, how are you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Great. You sung Barbadian too?
What's that?
You sung Barbadian?
Haitian.
Haitian?
Yes.
Well, thank you for coming out to support the National Democratic